Today we're going to talk about, it's a 4-step system. I don't want to just pump you guys full of hope and like, you can go do this right away, right? No, I actually want to like give you guys action steps and make sure everyone here gets the help that they are looking for, okay? And we're going to talk about how to save your marriage without getting your heart hurt, even if your spouse, they're completely checked out. I'm going to say like 99% of the clients that come to us, their spouse says things like this. And let me know if this sounds like you in the chat. We're going to use the chat to do these exercises, and you guys let me know where you're at so I can make sure I custom this to you. Okay. So let me know, like, my spouse has said, I'm completely done. There's nothing you can do. I want out. It's over. How many times do I have to tell you? Right. Or you find out that there's an affair going on, or maybe you had the affair and you're working to rebuild trust. Your spouse says, I'll never trust you. Or they're in love with someone else and they say, I want to be with someone else. What do I do, right? There's no communication whatsoever. Communication, you're really struggling to get them to open up, and you're just dealing with a lot of lack of trust, okay? So this works even if you're struggling with any of those things, as long as you commit to do exactly what we tell you to do, okay? All right, so let's go into this. Oh no, go back. Okay, so I want to know in the chat, what is your situation? So which type of couple are you? Type A, couple A would be you already have a divorce filed. Your spouse already has a lawyer. Oh, I forgot to turn on my video. Sorry. I really wanted to do that. Can you guys all see me now? Hello. How funny. I thought it was totally on. All right. Thanks for the reminder there. All right. So you already have a divorce filed. Your spouse has talked to a lawyer. They maybe even signed papers, or they're just threatening divorce or separation. Maybe you already are separated. Maybe you have a legal separation going on, and you want to know what you can do to get them back, to stop the divorce, to cancel the divorce, get back with you forever. Or maybe you could be any of these, right? Or all of them. B would be there's no trust. Maybe there's an affair, lots of different trust issues. Maybe you can talk to your spouse, but they don't believe what you say or what you do. Or vice versa, right? They've had the affair and now you don't believe what they say or do, and they're wanting to go with someone else, right? Or C, and I'm going to say, I first raised my hand. I've been married 14 years with my husband, Ben. When our marriage struggles, always communication is like the first thing to go out the door. And we feel like it's so hard to get each other to open up and understand one another, right? And so when your marriage is struggling, communication is almost always going to be at the top of the list of what your big challenges are, right? So maybe you can't talk without arguing, or your spouse doesn't believe what you say, your spouse doesn't open up, maybe they avoid deep communication. So Dave says A, B, and C, all the above, all the above, above, good. I do it all the time. I do so many spelling things. Galaxy S20, B, C, Darius C, Tammy, I think, A and C, Josh A and C, Jennifer, combination of all above, Karen B and C, Yolanda B and C, Jenny A and C. I know I got a lot more. Dave, yeah, I got that one. John ABC, A Mitchell, BC, Dave. I filed as a last option to hopefully call my bluff. Okay, interesting. We'll talk about that. Patrick Land's a combination of all. Darlene B, Keith C, Yaharia. Sorry if I said that wrong. Affair and no communication. Darius C. Okay. All right, so we've got a lot of these, and awesome. Lori B and C. AAA Dave says, I don't want you right now. I'm not in love with you right now. Yeah. Matt, she's done. She's not been happy for a long time. Feels she's drained when she's with me. Okay. So can you tell that we are with friends here? Like, we are going through this together, right? B and C, Krista says, Wanda, Narcissist, Lisa, all the above, James, B and C, Courtney, Chris, Damien, I got it. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm seeing a lot of you guys are agreeing with me that communication is a big challenge, right? And so we have something that I found is really, really helpful for that I want to give you guys that you can use in your marriage right away. And it's what we call our 7 proven conversation starters. We normally charge about like $47 for this, whatever, right? I'm going to give this to you guys for free as a gift for staying to the end of the masterclass, because that shows something like about you, that you're someone that's serious about saving your marriage and you're dedicated to putting in the time and the effort. And so I want to reward that and give you guys these 7 proven conversation starters. for me, I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to get him to open up. I don't, we often hear from our clients, I don't know how to get her to open up. How do I reply to this text message? So these are conversation starters that you can literally like copy and paste if you need to, or you can use them as ideas and inspiration. You'll see how effective that they really are in your marriage. And so we'll give those to you. I'll have them emailed to you. I'll take a screenshot of everyone who's here at the end and get that to you. Does that sound good? Does that sound something that you guys would like? Can you guys see and hear me now? My apologies. All right. I don't know what happened. It just booted me. So Heather's back. Thank you. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Goodness. It's like not Monday morning anymore, internet. All right. Let's see if I can get my screen back here. There we go. Cool. Let's make that full screen. All right. Let's rock and roll for real. Let me pull up the chat again because I don't want to miss any of your answers. But does that sound good? You guys looking forward to having these conversation starters given to you? Cool. A. Mitchell says yes. Tammy says yes. Damien says yes. Okay, cool. Jenny, yes. Awesome. So that is what we are going to do for you there. Now, who are we? This is not about us. It's really about you. But why are we qualified to teach on this? Who are we? A lot of you probably have never heard of me, Heather Cho, or High Thrive Coaching before. And so you might be wondering, like, is this a scam? Like, who are these people, right? But you're wanting to really get some results for your marriage. So maybe you came here on a whim, or maybe you're like, I'm really desperate. I will do anything and anything that helps, right? So anyway, who are we? So you may have seen us. We've been on CBS. We've been on Fox, First for Women. But you may have never known us before either. But we've been doing this for half a decade. We've been doing this for over 5 years now, actually. And I believe that results don't lie. We're the fastest growing online marriage resource. And that's because we've created a method that works. And we've been able to help tens of thousands of students around the world, just like you. You guys were talking about the situations that you're in, Dave. Yeah, pretty desperate. And so just like you, to be able to restore their marriage. And we feel like there's a radical shift that needs to happen in the world to create better healing and to empower people to be centered and happy and calm, regardless of the circumstances that they're facing, right? And so because we've been able to help so many couples in what I feel like is a very real, raw, genuine way, like sharing where we've been through, and then also, what's worked to help so many thousands of clients. We're really striving, our intention is to make a radical shift and a movement in the world and help heal relationships so that we can truly thrive regardless of what happens. And so with that, we've been able to help so many people and be able to do that. And so what I'm going to share with you is the exact method that we've used to help so many of our clients. Now, before I get to that, if I may, I would like to share a little bit about my story to let you guys know that I not just talk the talk, but I'm really striving to walk the walk. And I've been through a lot of the challenges that you are going through as well. You guys can all hear me now? Yeah? Diego is asking. So I think we're good. It looks good on my end. I hear everything okay. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share a little a video that I recorded earlier about my journey and a little bit about my story and why this will matter to you and where you're at right now. Awesome, Keith, thanks. Oh, that's really quiet.
Heather here. How are you doing today? I want to ask you a question and see if you relate to this. If this resonates with you, leave a comment, say me, raise your hand, say, yeah, that I can relate to that. So have you ever hit rock bottom? Have you ever hit that place where you're just like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I don't know if things could possibly get any worse than this. Are you in that kind of a place right now? I want to share with you 4 years ago when I hit rock bottom. I had gone through cancer treatment at the age of 29 while pregnant with our sixth baby. I had doctors look me in the eyes and tell me, Heather, if you don't abort your baby, you're risking your life. It's not going to end well for you. You're not going to make it. Well, I proved them wrong. And here I was with this beautiful new baby, but still in the fight for my life. I had to go through chemotherapy and radiation. In the process, my husband and I, we lost our home. We lost our business. We moved up to his parents' land, and we moved into a camper trailer with our 6 children living in a camper trailer. I'd never felt so humiliated in my life. And I hit this point where I felt like I had lost my health. I lost our home. I lost our business. I lost my friends. I lost my support. And now my husband was turning to his family for emotional support. And I felt like I was losing my marriage. And I remember one night I was cooking spaghetti in our camper trailer, our 6 children around me. And I remember tears just pouring down my face as I'm making this spaghetti. And I'm watching as the tears are falling into the spaghetti. I don't know if I even served it. If I did, I guess we survived. And I just remember thinking, I can't do this anymore. If I lose my marriage, if I lose my husband, I have nothing left. I've already lost everything. And I remember going to him and telling him, Ben, I just need to leave. I can't do this anymore. And it was the first time that either of us had ever said those words. He asked me not to go, and he stood in the camper trailer with tears falling down his face as I got in our Suburban, and I drove away. I left him there, crying with our 6 kids. You want to know how far I made it? 3.2 miles. That was the first time I'd ever left. That was the only time I've ever left. And I watched that mile counter, 0.10 of a mile, 0.2 of a mile, 0.3 of a mile. And again, the tears are just streaming down my face. And I am asking myself, what am I doing? It got to the point where I couldn't see anymore. So I pulled over 3.2 miles. And I'm in a beautiful, incredible sunflower field. And the sunflowers are just beautiful and golden and bright. And it was such a contrast to the darkness that I felt inside myself. In that moment, I asked myself, Heather, is there another way of looking at this? I realized in that moment that if I left this marriage, if I left him, that darkness that was in me, it would stay with me no matter where I went and with whomever I went with. Because that story that I wasn't good enough was what was creating that chaos in my life, was creating that pain. And I realized in that moment that limiting belief was creating all of that circumstance. So can you relate to that? What is the limiting story that is holding you back, that is holding you in pain? When you can release that story, that is when you can find healing and ultimate happiness in your life.
All right. So I hear Omar said he can relate. John said he can relate. So I really want you guys to pay attention. Ray, Ginny, Alexis, Elisa, Andy, Dave, Ernest, all of you guys, James, Dave, 100%. Yeah. To the stories that you're holding inside yourself. Josh, John, Jennifer, Karen, Keith, Krista, Lisa, Mike, Omar, Patrick. Really pay attention to the stories that you've been telling yourself that have created negative cycles in your life. And we're also going to talk, especially today, about our spouse's story about us, because I bet I can read your mind. I've been doing this so long and with so many people that I bet I can tell you that your spouse has a negative story about you, right? That they have negative perceptions about you and about the marriage. And those stories are what really hold us back. And so today we're going to talk about how we can change those stories inside ourselves to create healing, not just on a surface level, but on a deep, deep level. Chris says, oh boy. Okay. Dave, 100%. Jennifer, yes. All right. So what we did is I partnered with Mark Johnston, and I came through my personal experience fighting cancer, working to restore my marriage. And he came from a traditional therapy background. A lot of people think like, if your marriage is struggling, well, then you go to therapy, you go to get counseling, right? And he realized after working with so many people that traditional therapy is just not the solution for the most extreme cases. When your spouse is having an affair, when they want a divorce, when they say, I'm done and there's nothing you can do, when you've broken trust and they'll say, I'll never trust you again, right? So we came together and really started researching and trying different methodologies. And we found that most people need to fix one little thing to get their spouse back. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys all today. Now I want to begin with an exercise. So please put this into the chat so I can see your answers and see where you're at, and custom, the information I go deeper in with you here today so that you can have transformation with it. I want you to put into the chat or really just think about this within yourself. Take a moment to really be intentional, because this exercise is something we do with all of our clients, and it is crucial. So really think about, where do I want my marriage to be 3 months from now? 3 months from now. Maybe that looks like, I want my wife to come home. I want them to end the affair. I want them to stop talking about divorce. I want to better understand each other. I want her to put her wedding ring on. I want her to come back to the bedroom with me. I want to come back home. I want to be a good example to our kids. Really think about where you want, 3 months from now, 3 years from now, 30 years from now. What is the feeling that you have when you come home at the end of the day? What's the expression on their face? How do you go to sleep at night? How do you wake up in the morning? All right, TY Medina, I want my husband to be back home with our family without having an affair. Love that. Matt, I want her to be happy with me again. Lisa, in 3 months, I want my husband to be home and supporting me through my recovery. Okay, Lisa, I can relate to that. Keith, I want my wife to come. I love that. Rob, wearing ring and liking me again. John, I would like my marriage to come back home and begin to love me, understand her, build trust, romance, and have her become my best friend again. Beautiful, beautiful. Patrick, building on the trust relationship, we started living in the same house again, or at least dating and moving forward. Awesome. Dave, back together in the same bed. Mind frame, no more separation. Be the man she wants me to be. Open communication. Ernest, I want my wife to heal emotionally and come home to me. Yaharia, if I say that right, I want him to come back home and sleep in my bed with me. More communication and be happy. Keith, back home and be happy together again. Jennifer, I want her to look at me the same way she always did 10 years ago and be happy that I'm here. Wanda, I want my husband not to be so critical, to accept who I am and stop trying to change me, and content. Chris, back together, stop arguing, stop talking divorce, have our life vision, dreams, goals we once had, talk and share. Omar, I want to come back home and have a happy marriage. Andy, I want my wife to put our divorce on hold and begin speaking with me in a civilized fashion again. John, will feel great to have her show her that that I've changed. Cool, pay attention to the next part, okay? I really, really pay attention to that, John. Ginny, I want my husband to come home. I want him to love me again. Dave, I want her to love me again. R, home and end the affair. Stop thinking divorce. Alyssa, at this point, I'm unsure. Okay, then you need to take some time to do this. Okay, I will give you all the steps, but I cannot move a parked car. So maybe think about the things that you don't want first, and that will give you clarity on the things that you do want. But it's crucial that you know where you want to go. It's okay not to have all the answers, but say, I want to sleep at peace at night. I want to feel happy when I wake up, right? That is a huge step if you've been living in a lot of stress, anxiety, and pain, okay? Tammy, in 3 months, I want my husband to be in love with me. James, all right, living together, total forgiveness. Ibby, I think you said, or I think that's how you said your name, right? Kiss me again, not just have sex for physical reasons. All right, yeah, and not meet the other woman. All right, so many good, thank you, I appreciate it. Josh, Aim Mitchell, Yolanda, Marlene, Galaxy, Ray, Chris, Courtney, Karen, William, Krista. Come home and be happy, have the same vision for our family's future again. So what would it really feel like to have that result? To have that back in your life again, what it would feel like to have your spouse in love with you. Think back to your early dating days, right? It's when you were head over heels in love and you trusted each other, you cherished each other, you were so important to each other. And how good would that feel to have it back? Why is it so important that we think about this now? Sometimes it's hard to think about it when we're like, that's so far from where we are. But it's absolutely crucial that we listen to that inner part of ourselves that I believe knows truth. It knows what we need for us, right? For the better part of ourselves in our life journey here, right? And for me, like I had so many voices coming at me, people telling me, you should respect yourself. You should just leave him. He doesn't listen to you. He doesn't really care about you. I had the therapist said, if he's not willing to work on it with you, then there's nothing you can do, all these different things. And even in my fight with cancer, people telling me I should do this or do that. And I needed to do this and try this treatment. And I was foolish for wanting to keep my baby and all these things, right? And eventually I just had to tune it all out and really listen to what my inner self was saying, and to respect that that's the journey I needed to go on for me, because I couldn't live my life any other way. I couldn't like live with myself. And I wanted to have that peace of mind that I did everything I could, regardless of what actually happened, so that I could be happy and have that kind of inner peace and the inner strength that I know I was craving, because I hadn't been living that way most of my life, and I knew I needed to make some changes. So it's crucial that we know where we want to go so that we can steer ourselves to that destination. Make sense? All right. So please hold that in your mind and in your heart. And if other people are telling you that you're foolish, or that it's impossible, or even your own fear is telling you it's impossible or it's foolish or whatever, right? That you listen to that inner part of yourself, because when you take action in the direction of where your inner self really wants to go, you will find peace and happiness regardless of the actual outcome. So it's crucial that you do that. If you do that, then you will come away from not only just this masterclass, but from this entire experience, having learned some beautiful things and made some really powerful decisions and some powerful transformations within yourself. All right, so let's keep holding fast to that as we talk about it today. Now that you know the destination that you want to go, then I'm going to show you the steps to get there. But like I said, I can't move a parked car, but I'll show you, if you're willing to, turn it on and push the gas pedal, I'll show you how to get there and navigate to that destination that you want to go. So let's talk about that. So we've made a big discovery. Like I said, we discovered one little thing that's a big reason why marriages are ending in divorce. I say it's something insane because no one else is talking about it. And I'm going to be fully transparent. We didn't even know that we were missing this until we've been working with like thousands of couples for several years. And let me just show you what this would look like for us on our side. Okay. So like Mike, Marlene, Lori, Krista, Tammy, Tasha, Phyllis, all of you guys, Patrick, we would work with you, a couple just like you guys, and we would help them to get, really respectful, awesome, connecting communication going. We'd help them to open up conversations that they had never done before. And then we'd help them to build like a friendship and a connection. And then all of a sudden, the person that wanted out, right, the husband or the wife, would say, this is great. I'm so glad that we understand each other now. We're going to be such great co-parents when we get a divorce. And we were like, what? Like, how could we have come so far and helped our clients get so far? And yet sometimes their spouse still wanted out. And we realized we were missing something. And if we were missing it, then it was being missed on the whole by many, many other people as well. And so I'm going to share with you what that is that we were missing and what the big thing is that's going to make a huge difference for you, just like it has for many of our clients. But I'm going to tease you a bit. Here's what it's not, because it's really important that we don't fall into this kind of trap, okay? How many of you raise your hand if you've been told that to save your marriage, you need to work on yourself? I was told that. I was told, work on yourself. And in some way I can understand where this is coming from. It's kind of a buzzword or like this, I don't know, really popular idea right now that we need to work on ourselves because we can't control our partner. So we can control what we can control, right? Dave says, yep. That's all she says. Yeah. And so when we are told that we need to work on ourselves, we would ask our clients, how are you doing working on yourself? They would say things like this, let me know if this sounds like you, if this is where you're at. Like, I'm working out at the gym now. I'm losing weight. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm better with the kids. I'm more patient. I help out at the house. I do the laundry. I make the dinner, right? I help around the house more. Or I come home and I listen to her more. I understand her more. She says, I didn't do that, so now I do, right? Or I stopped drinking. I stopped the affair. I stopped looking at pornography. I stopped complaining. I stopped neglecting him. I stopped controlling her, right? I stopped all these things. And I meditate, right? And we'd be like, oh, that's great. You're doing really good working on yourself. And you're doing such a great job. And then we'd ask them, how's your marriage? And they would say, oh, we're still getting a divorce. Yeah, Matt says, she told me I need to work on me, fix myself. Tammy, yes. Dave, she needs to work on herself, whatever that means. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. He says he has to work on himself. So here's the bottom line, guys. Working on yourself is great for you, but it is not the solution for saving your marriage. The solution is to work on changing your spouse's story and their beliefs about you. In other words, we need to make them notice immediately that they want to be with us, right? That we're now a desirable option, right? And to show them that we really are what they're looking for. In other words, kind of like marketing ourselves to them, getting that know, like, and trust factor back again, okay? So here's the big discovery. 98% of the time, our spouse, they've built up a belief about us, which justifies their reasons in leaving. Whether they're accurate or not is actually irrelevant, because we're going to believe what we believe. Like, we have our own perceptions, they have their own perceptions, right? So put into the chat, because this is going to help me know how to help you best. What are the reasons why your spouse says they want out, or why they're having an affair, why they want a divorce, why, any of these things? It can sound like, you just won't change. I've been telling you for years that you should understand me more, that I need more emotional support, and you just won't do it. So you won't listen to me and I'm done, right? Or maybe I can see that you are changing, but the change is just temporary. If I come back to you, you're just going to go back to the way that it was, and I'm going to be hurt again. It's a manipulation, right? How many of you have heard of that? John says she isn't happy being here, right? Maybe she thinks she could be happier on her own or happier with someone else, right? Andy, she can't trust me that I won't be the same person. John, she doesn't trust me. All right. It says nobody understands me, doesn't love me anymore. Patrick, I've heard all these. Galaxy, he needs to fix himself. No change, temporary change. Krista loves me, but not in love with me. Doesn't believe people can change. John says needs to find herself. Chris, all of the above, as well as everything is my fault and I just don't understand. Yolanda, all of these. Dave needs to find herself. Yeah, there's that one, right? I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I need to find myself. It's not about you. It's about me. We're better for the kids if we don't fight all the time, right? We're better as co-parents. We're better as friends. I'm not attracted to you anymore. Maybe I never was. Mike, listen to that one. Yeah. Love me, but she's not in love with me, Dave says. Matt, I will change. I do just temporarily. She won't believe I will change and keep the change. Yeah. Tammy, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. You only change temporarily. Jennifer, I'd be happier with other people. Jenny said that after 30 years, we are growing apart and he's not in love with me anymore. Lisa doesn't think I can change, and then it's been that way for years. All right, so this is crucial. These are the symptoms of what they're going through. They are not the actual reason. And I'm going to talk about why it's so important we understand the difference and solve the problems the right way, okay? So bottom line is we have to remove those beliefs or they won't come back. They're going to hold fast to that story even when you show them that you make this positive changes, okay? So here's the old model. The old model is like improve yourself, right? So, TY, like you're not affectionate enough. So then you become more affectionate, right? I never really loved you. So then you start to try to build the romance up, right? You make all these positive changes and you work on yourself, which takes years, right? Changing our habits and our patterns takes a long time to actually like really become real because we're human and it changes hard, right? So it takes years and then we hope our spouse notices, or sometimes even weeks or months, but we're still hoping that our spouse notices, or we've been doing it for like 2 days and we're like, okay, this is the new me, you should believe it. And the problem is that they don't notice it or they don't believe it, even if they do notice it, and then it's too late because they're already checked out, they're already wanting out right now. So that's the old model. Doesn't work very well, does it? Right? The do it yourself, work on yourself, go to therapy for years, right? Here's what PATH does, the new model I'm about to tell you about. The PATH model is going to make your spouse notice right away, wake them up right away, and make your spouse notice instead of hoping that they notice and letting it be too late, okay? We got to flip the whole thing on its head. We're going to make our spouse notice, and then 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it might be for you, you're going to get back together. You're going to both want to work on the marriage. And then we're going to improve ourselves. Then we're going to build the habits that take a long time to create, right? So do you guys see the difference between these two models, right? We're really flipping the entire thing on its head. We don't have time to wait to show them that, yeah, I'm done drinking alcohol. Yeah, I'm done being controlling. Yeah, I'm done ignoring you. Or I'm done, my depression has not enabled me to see your needs or meet your needs, right? That takes a long time to prove it. And we don't have that kind of time. So what we want to do is make our spouse notice as fast as humanly possible, work together, get them back together, and then work on the deep changes that need to happen to have a truly happy, thriving marriage forever, right? For long term. Does that make sense? Let me know if any part of this is unclear. Do you guys see the difference? And do you guys see how this whole thing about like the wake up call and making them notice now is so important, because if they don't notice quickly and they don't believe, right, the new story about you and that they can be happy with you, then they're just going to keep heading down the same road. And that's not going to be where you want to go, right? Jennifer says yes. Galaxy says makes sense. Want to yes. Okay, cool. Keith, if there's ever a question, loving it. Chris, awesome. If you ever have a question, if anything isn't clear, please let me know. And I can say it another way or go deeper into any of these. So I want to make sure that you guys are with me. All right, cool. All right. A magic spell, LOL. Dave, no, but I'm going to give you some action steps that you can take. All right. So here is the 4-step process that's going to show them, our husband or wife, that we've changed without us even saying it and without us needing to prove it for months or years, right? And hoping that they notice, okay? Now we call it the PATH method. It is an acronym. It stands for peaceful communication. A, adjust how they see us. T, trust building. And H, hope and close. So right now I'm giving you guys like the high level overview about what this is and why it's different and how it's going to help you. And then I'm actually going to go into each of these action steps, right? Each of these PATH steps so that you can apply them right away. Cool. All right. Matt, we will email the replay to you all tomorrow. Only the people here will get the replay, but only those that stay to the end actually get the conversation starters. So I understand if you have to go. All right, so using PATH. This is a flowchart, because could we have a masterclass without a flowchart? I think not. It's just too fun. So you will note that the little text, like the little sentences there, are blurred and you won't be able to see them. So no, you're not losing your vision. It's intentionally blurred because I don't want you getting hung up on the details. But I do want you to understand that this is a system. We're going to start you where you are in your marriage, right? And then we go through different checkpoints. Do we have communication open? No. Okay, we need to go here. Did this work? When we told you to say this and send this text, what was their response? Okay, cool. Now you go here or you go here, right? Is there trust? Yes or no? Yes, there is. Awesome. We proceed to this next step. No. Okay, we know exactly what we need to work on next. So that is how we navigate through all the different challenges that you have and the unique journey that you will go on in restoring your marriage to get you to that result that you said you want 3 months from now, 3 years from now, right? All right. So here's why it's different. Unlike other methods that we tried ourselves, that we studied, that we've researched, we now focus, and this is exactly what everything is geared to, getting you guys the love that you crave and immediate relief as fast as humanly possible. Immediate relief from the pain, immediate relief from the fear, so that you can feel secure again and that you can process through these things, right? And have success. It's not the typical therapist model. When I went to therapy, I was told, yeah, your husband needs to come with you. She needs to come with you. He needs to come with you. Otherwise, I can't help you. There's nothing we can do, right? Or, they want you coming back week after week for as long as possible. And here's an interesting thing. Don't know if you know this. I didn't, but therapists are actually not allowed to tell you what to do. Interesting, because they're dictated by insurance that says you can and cannot do certain things. So that's why they talk a lot like they're your friends, or, let's talk about your childhood. And sometimes they even take one side, like your wife's side, and then you're left hanging like, what do I do? Like, right? And they play sides to the whole thing. And so this is not the typical therapist model whatsoever. And it's also radically different than trying to do it yourself. Okay. I missed a slide there. So it works even if your spouse is checked out completely. We actually encourage you to work on it on your own, especially if they're wanting out. I'm going to go into that a little bit further here in a minute. We actually want to get rid of you. It's true. Our happiest day here, Rob, Phyllis, Krista, Levy, Dave, Rob, all of you guys, Stephanie, is that we want you to graduate. We want you to master these steps as we guide you step by step on exactly what to do, what to say, how to do it, when to do it, right? And then for you to move on with your life and have a happy, thriving marriage. So that's one of the happiest days for us, is when you're done and you no longer need us, okay? And we are coaches. We are not counselors. We are not therapists. And that means, it's pretty cool, it's to your benefit, we get to tell you word by word what to say, what to text her, what to do in front of her, So she will see that you've changed. Remember that. Make her notice right away. Make him notice right away, because we don't have time to waste, right? So we get to do that with you, and it's really, really incredible. We say, send her this text message right now. Okay, that was her reply. Send her this text message. Have this kind of in-face conversation about this right now and report back to us. Okay, this is what she said. Now do this. Okay, this is what he said. Now we're here, right? And we guide you through every single interaction every single day. All right, you guys ready to get into the action steps? That's the high level overview, okay? Awesome. So first, in our 4-step path method, yeah, what if he doesn't respond? Pay attention to step 2, Galaxy, because that's exactly where most of you are going to be at, okay? So our 4 steps here, we're going to first do what we call a root assessment. This is a crucial piece of the entire process, and it's something that you cannot do on your own. So what we do is we scientifically assess your marriage to determine what the root issues and the perceptions are that are behind their story. Remember all those things you guys put in the chat here? I love you, but I'm not in love with you. You never change. You're too controlling. I can't be happy here, right? Those are their perceptions, right? That's the story that they built up about us and why they now want out. And we need to uncover what those root issues are that are causing them to believe that. Why have they built up this belief over the past weeks and months and years, whether it's justified or it's not, right? Usually it's a little bit of both. But here's the kicker, guys. We might be able to guess or even know what 1 or 2 of those root reasons are. Some of you talked about like affairs and broken trust, right? And so with that, you can say, okay, she says she doesn't trust me. And that if there isn't trust, there isn't love, and she's done. Because you know what, I know that one of those root issues that why she believes this is because 2 years ago, I did have an affair and I stopped it and I confessed, and I've been working to rebuild her trust, and I've been doing everything humanly possible. And yet she still says she's done. But I can know that, yeah, the reason why she says she doesn't trust me is because I broke her trust. I had an affair 2 years ago, right? So it makes sense. It's logical. We can have a really good understanding of why they're saying what they're saying. But here's the real kicker, guys. There's always 1 or 2 more reasons that they believe that about us that we are completely unaware of. We have no clue that this was what's really going on in their head and really going on in their mind and inside them, okay? Why is that? Why would we be completely unaware of it? Let me ask you guys, again, put this in the chat, if you've heard any or felt this way yourself or heard anything like this, right? Like, I've been blindsided. I had no idea that she felt this way about me. Or I thought everything was fine and I had no idea it was this bad. Or maybe I know it was this bad, but I know it was bad, but I didn't know it was this bad. Have you guys ever said anything like this to yourself or even said it out loud, right? Or I don't understand why she's doing this. I don't understand why she changed so much. Or I don't understand where he's coming from. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened, right? If you guys have ever thought or wondered any of these things or currently thinking them, Stephanie says, yup, exactly. Lori, okay. Let's go into that in the Q&A, okay? Please put that in the Q&A. Patrick, yes. Galaxy, yes. Dave, all of the above. Keith, yes. R, yes. Ginny, yes to everything. You know it. Chris, yes. William, Josh, Lisa, Jennifer, John, awesome. Karen, yes. All right. So if you've ever thought this, or you're being blindsided, you're in confusion, you don't get your spouse, you don't know why they're still doing this to you, that is a clear indication that there are root issues going on that you're unaware of. And it's crucial that we help you uncover what all of them are, so you're not left guessing anymore. Another interesting thing is that oftentimes the more we think that we know why they're leaving, and so, she says, I'm not affectionate, so I'm going to be more affectionate. So if we think that we know that and we try to solve that problem, usually the more wrong we actually are, because human beings are complex. And so what we do is we help you unearth all 4 of the reasons. 4, sometimes 5. There's typically 4 or 5. And unless we unearth all of these 4 or 5 reasons, then we won't likely get them back because they're still going to hold on to that story. It's their defense mechanism. It's their reasons justifying what they're doing. It helps them to sleep at night knowing that they're doing something really damaging. Okay. Especially those that are saying, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I need to find myself. I need to work on myself. I saw a lot of you guys saying things like that. That's how they're justifying what they're doing. And so unless we help them heal all of those reasons, then they're going to hold on to at least one of them and it's not going to work. So we need to uncover all of them so we can heal every single one of them. Okay. Now, this process is simple because, like the KISS acronym, right? Keep it simple, sexy, not stupid. You're not stupid, but it is effective. It doesn't mean it's the easiest thing to go through, but we want to really keep it easy. So we come in and do this root assessment with you. And now we've uncovered exactly what needs to be changed, right? The issues, the perceptions that are leading up to this that need to be changed. And then we know exactly what needs to be changed. We're not left guessing. We're not left like, what? What are you doing? Like, what the heck? Right? Now we know exactly what needs to be changed. Or instead of guessing and like making a fatal error and thinking that we got it right and then we actually got it completely wrong, now we're going to know exactly what needs to be changed, which is going to help us as we move forward to the next stages. Okay? After we do the root assessment, then we want to open up communication. I said, I know a lot of you guys talked about communication, and I said, listen to the next part because that's going to be really, really crucial. And all of us raised our hand basically and said, yeah, we need help with communication, right? It's not taught to us. And so you're going to learn some things here that could radically change things for you if you apply them going forward. Sound good? Is that fair? All right. Now, Rob says nothing wrong, just grown apart. Yeah, there's another reason. It's the easy letdown, right? Because she's trying to make it easier on you, but she knows it's really, really hurting you because she's probably a really compassionate person. Okay. All right. So here in step 2 is where we need to open communication and have that really peaceful communication. Okay. If we cannot talk to them, I mean, this makes sense. If we can't talk, like we can't change their story, we can't uncover why they really want out. And it's a big problem that we have to solve first, right? Agreed? How do we do that? Well, first, I want you guys to kind of take your communication temperature. I want to know where you're at so I can give you guys the best help. Put in the chat here, what level of communication are you guys at in your marriage? Level 1, you have no communication. You have a restraining order. You are in prison. You can't talk to them at all. You're on other sides of the world. You don't text, you don't call, nothing, like literally no interaction at all. It's completely dead. There's nothing. Or 2, stonewalling, closed off. They are giving you the silent treatment. They won't talk to you about hardly anything. A lot of walls put there. Or maybe 3, it's very volatile. It's explosive. There's name calling. There's throwing things in your face, bringing up past pain, bringing up past hurts, right? And it's a really angry, yelling situation, right? 4 would be like it's surface level. You're business-like. You can talk about things, but you can't go deep. There's walls put up there. Or 5, you're friendly, but you're not romantic. And you're trying to build up that romance, that passion, that connection. And for whatever reason, they just say it's dead. And so you're friends and you can get along, but there's no passion and connection there. 6 would be, of course, intimate, open, trusting, amazing, incredible, loving communication. So where are you guys on this? Patrick says 3 to 4, mix between. 3, 5, 6, Karen says. Ginny, separated, you're 1, separated 10 months. Okay. So do you ever talk at all? Ginny, I need to know, do you have any interaction at all? We have helped people with restraining orders and those in prison and even people on the other side of the world. But if you have absolutely no communication at all, then I need to know that because that's important. Ray says 1, 2, 3. Ty 3, 4, 5. Yolanda, Josh. Okay, 2, I say 2 and 3s. I wish I should have done this as a poll. I did that last time and that was really fun. I gotta figure out how to do that again. That way I can see exactly. I see a lot of 4s, 5s. Galaxy, Alyssa, Stephanie 1. Silent treatment. Again, Stephanie, let me know about that. Dave 4 and 2. Andy 3, 4. Lisa 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm seeing a big range there between 2 and 5, which makes sense. Okay, awesome. Ray says no communication whatsoever, restraining order. Okay, and that does make it much, much, much more challenging. However, we've still been able to help people in that situation. And if you're not in that situation, then be grateful because there's so much more opportunity and we can help you a lot with that. Okay. All right. Yeah. You're 4 and 5 basically going to talk about the kids or household belongings. Right. And so how do we get that deeper? Sergio, thank you. Sergio is a partner here at High Thrive Coaching, and he's going to be coming on here at the end with Q&A and give you guys some really cool opportunities over there. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't know how to do it. So I don't want to worry about it. He's telling me how to do a poll. So I'm not going to do it right now. I'll learn and then I'll do it. All right. So now I have a good idea. Most of you guys are between like the 3 and 5, but we even have some 1s and some 2s. So really pay attention to the next steps I'm going to give you. This principle, this method here, this system really of communication is something that works no matter where your marriage is. And I even use it today in my marriage, even though we're happy and trusting and like so truly madly in love. And we still use this today to help us with communication when challenges arise. Okay. So there's a couple things that we have to stop first. Oh yeah, let me give it a little bit of preface here before we go into what we have to stop. Bottom line is actually, if you're in a really closed off situation, even if you're at the friend stage and you're trying to get them to go deeper, or if you're in the business-like surface level, but as soon as you bring up, why do you want the divorce, right? And they immediately bring up like the walls, or can we talk about this? Can we work on this, right? When you have that kind of resistance and they built up walls there, our first goal is that we need to get communication open. And here's the truth. It's going to be ugly. I don't want to pump you guys full of like false hope or false expectations here. And our goal isn't actually positive communication right now. It's actually negative communication. It's just to get communication open. And you're like, well, Heather, why would I want to do a program that talks about like having ugly communication as their goal? Well, I'll tell you, it gets better. But it's kind of like we've got a really nasty wound and it's been festering for a long time in our spouse, right? And they have been closed off and not letting us see what's under the surface. And now we kind of need to lance it and let it drain. I know it sounds really gross, but it's true. It's like we got to get the yuck out so that we can allow the wound to fully heal. Make sense? So how do we do that? How do we get that communication open if they're completely closed off? First, there's a couple of things we have to stop. I really want you to pay attention to this part because most people, like almost every single, in fact, I've never met anyone who hasn't made one of these mistakes. So we've all made these kind of mistakes, and I can raise my hand and say, I've made them too. And this could be the biggest aha moment of your life. You could realize, wow, I realize now that because I've been doing this, that's why she's doing this. And that's why she's pulling away further from me. So first, we have to stop demanding that they work on the marriage. Let me know if you guys have ever said anything like this. You made a vow with me and you need to hold your marriage vows that you would work on this with me and you would stick it out with me in, sickness and in health, for better or for worse. Or maybe our marriage is against divorce. God says divorce is not right. It's against his commandments. So you need to work on it because our religion is against divorce. Or maybe it's better for the kids if we stay together, right? And here's the thing. You're right. Like they did make a vow. They did promise. They did make covenants that they are breaking and that they are going back on. It may be against your religion. It may be better for the kids, right? If you stay together. And so you're right. But it's kind of one of those times you have to decide, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? I'm not saying compromise that, but you have to understand that when you come at them and you say, you need to work on this with me, you need to go to counseling with me, we need to make this work. What is their response? Put yourself in their shoes for a minute. If you are already determined to do something, you say, I'm already made my decision about this, and then someone's pushing you to do the opposite, what do? He says, I've done this. Chris is all the above. Guilty. Tammy, guilty. Patrick, hi. Guilty here, Lori. So what happens when we are pushed to do something that we don't want to do? Pushes her away. Jim, awesome. Good awareness. Right. So it pushes them away. We feel like we need to run away, like we need to create space. We push back, right? No one likes to be pushed or told what to do. And so while you're right in everything that you may be saying, it's only going to push them further away, which is not what we want. Maybe you're going into the manipulation, the pleading, the acting out of desperation. Manipulation might sound like, I'm going to take the kids from you. I'm going to ruin you financially. I'm going to destroy your business. I'm going to wreck your credit. I'm going to ruin your reputation. And we say some of these things. And I heard one of you said that you actually filed hoping that she's going to call your bluff. We're threatening them. We're trying to manipulate them to do what we want. because first we're reacting, right? And then part of us is hoping that they see the threat and that they come back to us. Does it ever work? No, it never works. Or we get into pleading, right? Please don't leave. Please don't do this for the kids. Please give me another chance. Please, I'm begging you, please, 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 right? How many of us have done that? Ray says always demanding and manipulating. Yeah. Or acting out of desperation. Or we get so afraid that we freeze and we end up doing nothing because we have so much fear inside of ourselves. And as we just freeze, we don't know what to say or what to do, then they just pull further and further away from us. Where does this really come from? Where does all of this come from? This desire to manipulate, to plead, to act out of desperation, to freeze, to not do anything. What emotion is spurring all of that? Put it in the chat. Let me know how you guys are getting this. Freeze, fear. Yep. Yeah. It's coming from fear. Yes, exactly, Andy. Yeah. Fear, Jennifer, Courtney. Good. It is. It's coming from fear. And that's a very natural response. It's a very instinctual response. But what happens is it puts us in that fight, flight, or freeze response, which makes us very animalistic. And, you can actually look at neuroscience and psychology. It actually like shuts off the blood flow to the reasoning part of your brain. So the reasoning part of you that knows your better, your best course for your life and your marriage and all these things isn't the one acting right now. It's the animal part of you that's acting out of fear. And imagine you're in a room with someone that's very tense. They're coming at you with a lot of fear. They're begging you, they're pleading you, they're desperate, right? What do you instinctively want to do when someone's coming at you with that kind of energy, right? What do you want to do? Kind of the same thing, like I'm demanding that you do something, right? You want to pull away. You want to create some space so that you feel safe. All right. And that is what your spouse is doing as well. You want to run. Yeah. Jennifer, Keith, run. Yeah. John, don't want to do it. Exactly. So that's what your spouse is doing. Now, you may not be doing it in such a negative way. I'm going to really challenge you to look at what you've been doing the last little while. If you haven't had the results that you want until now, then we need to understand why and start to do some different things so we can have some different results. Agreed? Maybe you're doing it like this. She says she wants out, so I'm going to fight for my marriage. I'm going to send her a text message every day. I'm going to send her a scripture. I'm going to send him a picture of our marriage vows. I'm going to bring her flowers every day. I'm going to work on the kids, help with the kids. I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to meet her needs. And we're doing all of these things that we think are the right solution and we think are going to get them back. But if we are still doing them from a place of fear, they will sense it. They will sense it. That is the beauty of a partnership and also the curse of a partnership, right? That's this close and this intimate. They will know where you're coming from and they will see it as a manipulation and they won't feel safe. They'll see through it. And even you're going to still feel that fear and that tension inside yourself. Like, I want to save my marriage. I'm so desperate to save my marriage. I'm holding on so fast to it. Okay. And even if you're trying to do all the right things and even saying all the right things, but you're doing it from that state, then it's going to backfire. Sound familiar? Jennifer says guilty. How do you know everything? LOL, Dave says. Like, I'll tell you why in a minute, but we've been doing this for such a long time. So absolutely, Galaxy says. All right. So what do we do instead? If that's the instinct, if that's the normal response is to get into fear and act in these manners and it pushes them further away, how do we possibly do anything different, right? Yep, says Ray, absolutely. Okay. So here's what we want to do instead. And what we teach you how to do exactly like step by step and immediately so your spouse notices right away. First, we take the pressure off. Take the pressure off. We take the pressure off of them. We take the pressure off of us and we take the pressure off the marriage. Okay. Because pressure is only going to create more distance. We increase understanding towards our spouse. It might sound like this. Okay. I really want you to pay attention to how this feels when someone speaks to you this way. Like, Ernest's wife. Okay, let's talk to Ernest's wife. But all of you, talk to your spouse here. I really care about you, and I know this can't be easy for you. I'm sure you've been going through a lot. And no matter what happens in our marriage, I want us to be, I want you to be okay. I want you to be happy. I want to become a better version of myself. I want to improve who I am. And I'd really like to understand where you're coming from. Is that something that you can help me with? How does that feel? Can you guys sense the difference there? Yes, I can make Sergio a panelist. Does that feel safe? Does that feel like you want to be able to open up communication there? Do you guys sense the difference there? I want to make sure. Okay, TY says 100%. Ray says absolutely. Karen says yes. Dave says yes. Galaxy says yes. Keith, yes, definitely, yes. And so we teach you how to not only say the right words, but how to genuinely get to a place of calm and peace and process through all the fear and the craziness that goes on in our own brains, right? So that we are like a rock in a storm. And we might be in the worst hellish storm of our life, but we're able to act in a calm, centered place, regardless of what happens and regardless of the circumstances. And what this does, Lisa, Krista, Levy, Wanda, awesome, Tammy, is that it makes your wife, your husband, notice immediately the changes. So instead of working on ourselves for years, right, and hoping they notice right away. And we notice right away. It gets us that immediate relief that we need to be able to successfully navigate this, okay? So just remember, as we're opening up communication, it's usually the ugly kind. It's actually a huge win. But we don't stop there. We go to step 3 here, which is retrust. Our clients love this stage. We call it a ceasefire because we're going to shift negative communication, right? Letting that wound fester, letting all the gunk out so it can finally heal, into neutral communication. And here's what this looks like. It feels amazing. Like your spouse is going to give you the time of day again. They're going to talk to you about anything. You're going to have incredible conversations again, really open, respectful, understanding kind of conversations. No more arguments, no more stonewalling, no more just surface level talk, no more just friends, but no romance, right? Well, yeah, that's a little bit of this next stage, but that's exactly what we see here. We see wedding rings being put back on, spouses coming back home, people going on dates again, having incredible conversations, really feeling like we're connected. We're like friends again. And it feels amazing. But here's the kicker. Here's a really, really crucial error that most people make at this stage. They think that they've done it. They think, I've restored my marriage, we've built up this connection, and then they push their spouse to stop the divorce or push their spouse to do whatever. And they're not done yet. So it's got the highs and the lows of the journey. This is the high, and we need to make sure we get you there, and we will get you there through this process. And it feels so, so, so good. It's incredible. Like you're like friends and you have this great connection. You go on dates and you're like, oh, we're there. You're not there yet. That's why it's so important that we don't forget step 4. Okay. Here in step 4 is where we're going to do the full identity shift and systematically remove all of their old beliefs about us and replace them with the new beliefs so they see themselves happy with you again. Okay. All right. Wow. Chris says, awesome. It looks like you had an aha moment. Love that. Really pay attention to that. So here's what we do not do, because at this stage, it's actually going to get really hard. We had the high, we had this great connection, and then boom. In fact, it's going to be really bad here. Most of our clients actually want to give up. They think it's not working during this step. What happens is that our spouse is going to give us a test. Not consciously. They don't wake up and say, I'm going to test Chris or Darius or Tasha or Tammy or Phyllis today, right? They're not doing that consciously. But what they're going to do is they're going to test the waters a bit. What's happening is that most of their heart is opening up to you again. And that feels scary. And they're going to see if you're for real and if they can fully surrender the rest of their heart to you, if you're going to be safe for them, right? If they're going to be happy with you. And we've identified that there's about 12 tests most spouses put you through before they finally change their beliefs about you. Okay. And we'll teach you how to pass all of them. In fact, we've been doing this so long and with so many people, we will preemptively know and be able to plan for exactly what tests they're going to throw back in your face. And what happens here is like, it's kind of like the Mount Doom, right? It's like the final battle. You've made it all this way, but you're not done yet. And then all of a sudden, like they'll say, here's an example, like, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. That's what they've been saying for months. And now they stop saying that. You're connected, you're friends, you're working on building up the relationship again. Maybe they even came back home or you're going on dates. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just drop this bomb on you. And they're like, we're going to be so great at co-parenting. I'm so glad that we have this connection, this understanding again. I'm really glad that we can be respectful to each other, you know? And you're like, what? And they'll say, you know, I really do love you. I'm just still not in love with you. There's still no romance, or I still don't trust you. They're going to throw the story back in your face. It's a final, like, battle of their defense mechanism, because they're scared of being hurt again. But they're so desperately, guys, listen to this. They so desperately want you to prove to them that you are real and that they can be safe with you and that they can let their story go. So we need to show them with this final test that we are for real. We're not going to go back to begging, pleading, manipulating, demanding that they work on things. We're not going to go back to any of the negative patterns from the past, that we are genuine. So not only have we made them notice right away, but now we're able to get to the stage where we can let their story go fully, and they can trust us fully with their heart again. And there we can work on making those positive changes that we need to have a happy, thriving marriage long-term. Make sense? This is live, Phyllis. I said your name several times. That's funny. Don't you see my video? That's funny. No, this is live. I said not the replay tomorrow. That's funny to me. That's okay. All right. So I want to ask you guys a question. At this point, you might be saying, okay, this all sounds great, but will this really work for me? My situation feels a little special. Okay. We all kind of think that. And I kind of laugh because I did too. All right. But the bottom line is we're really not, but that's okay. So I want you guys to do an exercise with me. I want you to pull out those reasons inside yourself that you think there's actually no hope for you. You think it's impossible. You think that you're special. You think that this path method isn't going to work for you because maybe you've tried a lot of other things before, right? I really want you to think about this. It's something that we don't normally say out loud. And sometimes we don't even like consciously register it, but there's a little bit of that fear still in us. We talk about the result that we really want 3 months from now, but there's still some resistance. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if they still do this? Or they say I'm done. And you know what? You say that this is going to work. It's not going to work. I've already tried so many things. It's not going to work. So I want you to be really real. We need to address this right now. Okay. Jim says, sounds amazing. Awesome. So put into the chat, you guys, what are the reasons why you think this won't work? Is it a scam? Right? Is this even a real life like masterclass? I love that, Phyllis. I appreciate your honesty there. We've been there before, minus the divorce, Dave. Okay. All right. So I'm going to actually not look at your answers here for a minute, but I want you to put them in there. And then I'm going to see if I can predict what you guys are saying. Okay. So I can see some are coming in and see if I know where you guys are at. All right. I'm going to go to the next slide. So here, see, oh no, go back. Here are all the reasons why we've ever heard why it won't work. And you guys think like that you are like the most unique thing and this is the biggest challenge ever and it's never gonna, work for you. We've literally seen the worst of the worst. And if you think your situation is really bad, we've seen things that are like 10 levels worse. And we've still been able to help them turn around their relationship. They say they're done. There's nothing I can do. Let me go to the chat here, see if I got it. See if you can find yours here on this list. It's a huge list, right? I'm afraid of success. I'm afraid of change. If I do, then it absolutely won't. Not sure what you mean, Jim. Oh, you said that. I'm not sure. Okay. Let me know what you mean there. She won't be willing, Ray says. He's done in a relationship and doesn't want anything to do with me. I'm worried it won't work. I've got fear there. Courtney says, living 6 hours away so I don't get frequent personal interaction, right? There's not enough interaction, right? Do I get that on the list, right? We don't interact at all. There it is. I'm in prison. I've got a restraining order. I know Chris was saying he does have that. They're in love with someone else. I've tried so many things. It didn't work. They're divorced, fear of change and failure. He has a girlfriend. He's in love with someone else. She's in love with someone else. They say, I don't care what you say, right? Stubbornness, controlling, keep throwing things at it until it sticks. We've been here before, minus the divorce. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys being honest about this. Yolanda, Alyssa, Dave, I probably checked 20 more of those. Dave says, Marlene, Andy, Galaxy, he won't work on it with me. Josh, Yaharia, he won't let the other woman go. Fear of not trusting each other, maybe in love with someone else. Yeah, exactly. I'm worried my ex will get back between us. Jim Gordon, I've said everything is possible. I have to be the person that believes everything is possible. If I don't, then who will? Oh, Jim, thank you for sharing that. I love that. I can do it, but my husband really believes more. Okay, thank you. I'm going to go through that in a little bit. Yolanda, I've said a lot of these things myself. I don't have the money for a big expensive fix. Lisa, yeah, exactly. I don't have time. I don't have money. There's addiction. There's alcoholism. They don't understand me. I don't get to talk. They don't respect me. There's broken trust, right? They won't go to counseling. So many reasons. Take your situation and take it 10 degrees worse. And we've seen it. We've been there. We've done it. Okay. So one of the interesting things is we always think that we're really special and that what we're going through, no one else has gone through before. And we always wonder, is this going to work for me? He says he's done. She says she's in love with someone else, right? Nothing I do ever works. I'm afraid of failing. So we have to recognize that all of these things really stem down to just 3 problems. All of those things stem down to 3 problems: communication, trust, and connection. And if you go back through and show how we use the PATH process, we show you how to overcome all of them. But we can't move a parked car. So you have to be the one that decides, do I want my fear? Do I want my reasons why it's not going to work? Do I want to believe it's impossible for me? Or do I want the happy result that I really deserve? Because you do deserve it. We all deserve to be happy now, regardless of the circumstances. So it's your choice to make. Which one are you going to choose? At the end of the day, I want you guys to really sink into these questions here and ask yourself, how good would it feel to replace the overwhelm, to replace the I don't know what to do, and now you have direction, to replace confusion with clarity, to replace the fear, the pain that you guys all said you're going through right now with true, genuine, with hope and peace. That is what having a coach on your side with the right method gives you. Does that sound good? Galaxy said, I want to go for it. Jim says, amen. And it's true. If you're not, Wanda says, oh no, that wasn't it. Jim says, I have to be the one person that believes everything is possible. If I don't, then who will? If you don't fight for what you want, then who's going to? It's not your spouse at this point. So you have to be the one that's willing to do it. Tammy says, amazing. Patrick says, yes. Jennifer sounds amazing. Ginny, yes. That would be a life, a bird's nest on the ground. Not sure. I think you said that to the panelists. Sorry, taken out of context there. All right. So if that sounds good to you, I want to ask you guys a question now. Does this feel like you? How many of you guys feel like this right now? It feels like we've just been like drinking from a fire hose, right? We've gone over so much information and transformation. Hopefully, if you guys take it and apply it, because that's what it's really about, that it can feel a little overwhelming. Yolanda says, LOL, yes. Lisa says, yes. Yahara, yes. And William Bate, yep. And so I really want us to, I want to know if you guys had the opportunity, like if we had the ability to talk more about this and show how we could use these same easy, simple 4 steps, simple 4 steps, the PATH process here for your marriage and keep the conversation going. Would you be up for that? Cool, Wanda, see you in a minute. Chris says, yep. Jim Gordon says, of course. Awesome. All right, cool. Andy, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, absolutely, definitely, indeed. Very good. He's worth it, Stephanie says. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Yes. And so let's talk about that. And you guys are talking about, already asking questions about affordability and stuff like that. So that's really cool. So Sergio and I are here. We're both, the owners here of High Thrive Coaching. And we wanted to do something just for you guys as a way of honoring you for spending the time here and working on your marriage. We put together a couple of different packages and show you how you can get more help with this. Are you guys interested in learning about that? Yes, if I can afford it. Jennifer says yes. Hopefully I am. Karen says yes. A couple of you said yes. I have it. I want to do it. He's worth it. Yes, Jim. All right, cool. So let's go into that. And then here in a little bit. All right. Whoops. Go back. All right. So what it is, how this works. We've talked a lot about how we use the PATH process. How are you going to really use it, right? We do the 12 weeks of one-on-one coaching sessions. And that's where we do the root assessment with you to uncover all the reasons why your spouse wants out, including those ones that you are completely unaware of. If you've been blindsided, you don't know why they're doing this, you're stuck in confusion and fear and pain, right? To get you that clarity. In the one-on-one sessions, you work with us private, confidentially. We're international marriage experts, and we show you the exact next steps that you need to take to get your spouse back and how to keep them long-term, how to get them to notice right away, wake up. 2, 3, 6 months from now, get back together, working on the marriage, rings back on, getting to that ceasefire stage, right? That feels so, so good. And then how to pass the final test, right? The final battle of their story. We'll show you exactly what to do. Literally, like, text them this right now. Okay, that's what they said. Now do this, right? And helping you to get to that calm, centered place, teaching you how to process through your emotions. Something we're not taught, but it's so transformative when we actually learn how to do that so that we're not victims to life anymore. Here's what we call the success loop. Here, we're guidance. We get, we give you the guidance, and we specialize in exactly these challenges. So first what to do. How many of us are like, I don't know what to do. What I've been doing isn't working. I've tried so many things. It doesn't work, right? So we need to know what to do. We need to know exactly what to do. What do I do when they do admit that they did have an affair? What do I do when she comes home without her wedding ring on? What do I do when she says, I'm done, there's nothing you can do? Or what do I do when she says, yeah, I do want to go on a date with you? And you're like, what do I do, right? So we need to know what to do. Not only what to do, but when to do it. Because the same thing that works at one phase of a marriage won't work or could completely backfire at another stage. Right now, my husband comes home and we just wrap each other in love and kisses and hugs, and we totally gross out our kids. We have 8 kids and it's awesome. But if you did that right now, it would probably completely backfire, right? So we need to know not only what to do, but when to do it so it doesn't backfire, make sure it's at the right time. If we did it right, we need to get that feedback. Sometimes we try to do it ourselves and we have no idea if we're doing it right. I played basketball and I practiced my free throw, and it wasn't until my coach said, you got to square up your hips, you got to put your hands like this, that gave me that feedback. So that's what we do as well. We give you that feedback. This is how you did well. This is what you need to improve on. This is where you need to go next, right? If we actually even did it, number 4, because I laugh about this, but it's so true. Sometimes we'll come to something like this, or we'll read a book and we're like, yeah, I totally agree with this. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this tomorrow. And we wake up the next day, and what do? We go right back to doing the same things we always did, right? So we need to have that accountability that we're actually doing these things, that we're actually making progress. We're actually shifting out of fear and pain. We're actually opening up communication. We're actually letting their story go, right? All of those things. And then when we've got to that next stage, we need to know what the next steps are. Okay, so I did this today. I did it, and you said I did it right, and I'm ready to move on. What's the next step? Okay, how do I go from being friends to being passionate lovers that are head over heels in love with each other again, right? Long-term for life. So we show you exactly what the next steps are. We repeat this loop again and again and again, and that's how we have success. And that's what having a coach on your side does for you. Scott just did an interview with us a couple of months ago now on our Thriving Marriage podcast. You can check it out anywhere podcasts are found. Pretty cool. But he had struggled with alcoholism, and he shares really openly about how he used this exact process to go from where his wife said, I'm done. She was like, I'm done. She's like, well, literally, you think your spouse is stubborn? You've never seen stubborn until you this woman, right? Okay. She's awesome, but she's very, very stubborn. No wonder she created a lot of reasons to become stubborn about this, right? And so he talks about how he would not be able to withstand this current world crisis if I had not wanted something completely different than what I had 3 months ago. Completely different. And so now she came back home. She's working out with him, but she's still been a little bit afraid to give her heart fully to him. And so we're there now at that final identity shift stage and helping her to let go of all of those reasons why she's holding on to that story about Scott. And they're doing fabulous. They're doing really, really good. I have a question for you guys. I have a couple other, I really find it's really helpful to find, go into people's stories and learn from what they've learned and know what they know. I do have a video that's not here on the slides. Would you guys like me to pull it up? It's a lot of you that talked about, affairs, is this going to work for me? And I want to show you literally one of the hardest cases that we ever had, and share it with you guys. It was given to us with permission from Leah. And so if you guys want, I can pull it up. Jenny says, yes. Let me know. Would that be helpful? You guys would actually like to see a real video of one of our clients. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can navigate this. Put my slides over there. Cool. All right, here's Leah's video. Let it pull up here in a second. And she had worked with us several years ago. And you guys, like you said, I don't know if this is going to work for me. My spouse says they're done. I want you to really pay attention to what she shares here.
Hi, everyone. So, I don't normally do this, but I was asked to share my story with you guys. So, my husband started cheating on me in November, and I found out in February, about a month before our son was born, and I was broken. I thought that I was never going to get through it. I felt like a part of me had died. Um, and I didn't know what to do. And then one day, about 3 months ago, I found an ad on Facebook talking about the program. And for me, it was a sign from God because I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what to do anymore. I felt like all I was doing was walking in circles. And so I joined the program on my last leg of hope, and it made a huge difference in my life. Because of the program, I started doing more self-reflection, and I started working on me, and I started improving myself and bringing that to my marriage. And because of that, because of following the program and speaking my husband's love language and finding what my husband needed because of the help of the program, my husband and I can now say that we have been married for 5 years as of last week. And he's left the other woman, and he's focusing on his family, and he wants to have a future with me, and he wants to have a future with me and our son together as a family. And I'm telling you guys, it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling knowing that I still get to spend the rest of my life with the love of my life. And some of you guys might be feeling like you're losing hope. Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep pushing through. When you feel like you have nothing left to give, when you feel like you are on your last leg, you aren't. You have more strength than you realize, and you can get through this, and you will get through this. Just keep doing the program, keep sticking with it, keep believing in yourself, and I promise you guys, you will see a difference.
All right. So Jim Gordon said, amen. Awesome. Wow. The music's still going. All right. So I want to ask you guys, like, how good would that feel to go from where you are right now, like where Leah was, where your spouse is saying, I'm done, I'm in love with someone else, I'm moving on, there's nothing you can do to stop it, to having the guidance to know how to get them back, how to end the affair like Leah was able to put in some healthy boundaries, restore trust, and go through this path process so that you don't make the crucial error of waiting too long until it's too late, but that you get them to notice right away and get them then to work on the marriage with you as you come from an incredible centered place, but not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does need to be consistently following this process. Chris says that would be awesome. Lisa says there's nothing I want more. Awesome. And so in addition to doing the one-on-one sessions, I think I skipped a slide here, in addition to doing one-on-one sessions, because we believe like you need more help than just that, right? That's like a therapist model, right? Would just be 1 hour session a week. We do weekly masterminds. Okay. These are where you meet together as a small group over Zoom, just kind of like this, but a really small group. And you get to work with your coach throughout the week. So if you just had a big blow up, or if you made a mistake and you went back to some of your old patterns, your old habits, like Leah's journey was not perfect. And we actually account for that. We plan on that. It's part of the process. We say, okay, you had this setback. Here's how we get back on track. And we make those tiny course corrections to get you to that destination. Here's exactly what to say, how to say it. Here's how to, process through that emotion. Here's what to do next, right? And the really cool thing about the mastermind specifically is that senior students like Leah here, or like Scott, and Leah's now been several years out from working with us, and they actually have 2 more children, and she actually says like the affair was the best thing that ever happened for them, because now they finally resolved all the issues that they had leading up to the affair, and now they're genuinely truly happy together. So not only did you get to learn from senior students like that, and they say, don't give up, trust the process. I'm where you are. I didn't have communication. We didn't have connection. They didn't respect me. I did make that mistake myself. And so you got to keep going. You got to trust the process. And as you trust the process, you're going to get there too. And then eventually you'll be the senior student, right? And then you'll be the one that's inspiring other people that are going through it as well. So it's incredibly powerful to learn from other people and to have that kind of support throughout this whole thing, right? All right, I'm going to skip this one just for the sake of time. But in addition to weekly masterminds, we also do 27 video trainings. And this is where we give you the entire path process really broken down for you so that you have confidence knowing exactly what you should be doing and what the next steps are that you should be taking. And so this training program isn't just about information, it's truly about transformation. And each video training has an action item exercise for you to do. So you go, it says, okay, go have this conversation with your spouse, or go do this, like take the pressure off. Okay, here's how we stop demanding. Here's how we stop pleading. Here's how we stop these things. Here's how we start increasing understanding. Here's how to, show your spouse that you are understanding with no agenda, right? So we do that, and then we have you report back to us. Then we give you feedback on how you did, and then let you know you're ready to go to the next stage, right? So I want to ask you guys in the chat, what do you guys think you need more of? Do you need more information, or do you need more transformation? Do you still need to know what the right things are to do? Or are you bombarded with information and you're like, I've got enough information. I actually want results. I need transformation. Yeah. Jennifer says both. John says both. Dave says transformation. Awesome. Lisa, transformation. Ray, both. Awesome. At this point, both. Chris says, Karen, both. Ginny, both. Krista, transformation. Tammy, both. Jim, results. Awesome. Ibby, transformation. Both. Levy, glory. Awesome. And so it is. We do need to know exactly the right information for us, tuning out all the other voices and saying, this is what I need to do so I don't live my life with regrets, right? And then getting into that transformation so that you have the happiness that you're really looking for, right? So I'm making up words, clients only 27 video trainings, weekly masterminds, coaching sessions, everything that you need. So we're truly on your side. Like, we're in your corner. We've got your back. We're with you in the trenches of this challenge that you're going through to get you to the light, to get you to the other side of it. Kelly, I love this one. She just sent this a little while ago. She said, I just barely got started with this program. And last night, my husband, who had been involved with another woman for almost 2 years. Okay, you guys think yours is the worst? 2 years. We've seen affairs going on for 15 years. We've seen sex addiction. We've seen, you guys think it's worse. Like, we've seen so much worse than where you're at, right? She says, I was unaware about this affair, right? But she knew something was horribly wrong. He asked me to renew our wedding vows as soon as this pandemic is under control. And they did renew their wedding vows. And it was incredible. It was that high point followed by a low point where he started to pull back. He started to get a little bit afraid. And we are helping her right now to overcome her husband's story about her and let go of that. And they're doing awesome. So that is how it works. And then we also give you a bonus SOS call. It's like, I need help immediately. Like, this big thing just happened, or I'm not sure how to handle this. So you are able to get on a call with a coach right away and get the answers when you need them most. Make sense? Welcome back, Wanda. So that's how the process works. Okay. And I want to ask you, from everything that we've shared today, I want to know if all of this was any of these one things, would it be worth it? If all of it did was get you peace of mind so you could sleep at night, so that you could feel truly like you're out of reaction mode, out of the fear mode, and that you're genuinely feeling like you're a rock in the storm, like you're calm in the storm, and you can go to bed having peace and going to bed having confidence in yourself and in your life, right? And you wake up with that kind of peace. Would it be worth it? Would it be worth it to help you open up that communication, to get deeper in your communication, or even just get it open if it's completely closed off right now, with your husband, with your wife, so you can finally understand each other, so you can build that connection, so you can have respect one towards another and increase that, that friendliness and that relationship. If all of it did was get you the ability to heal some of the pain that you're feeling right now, the fear, so that your heart is happy, let me know. Would it be worth it? And I laugh about this one too, but it's true. Would it be worth it if it helped save you $30,000 or more, which is the worldwide average, in divorce, attorney, real estate, selling the home, dividing the assets, selling the business, right? Getting new jobs, everyone having to have 2 homes and extra expenses and child support. If it saved you that, would it be worth it? Let me know. Yes, but I would still like to be with my wife. Yes, I believe you, John. Good. Ray says yes. Let me know. Tammy says yes. Worth every penny. Jennifer, Marlene, yes. Lisa, yes. Chris, yes. Okay. Very good. Karen, Jenny, awesome. Jim, sure. William, I want to hear like a heck yes, not just a sure. Yaharia, yes. All right. Can you put the URL there? Sergio's messaging me. Can you put the URL? He wants me to go to the website and explain the packages instead of what I have prepared. He's throwing me a curveball. So Sergio, put the link there so I can just click it, please, because I don't have it on my computer. So you guys want to see our exact website and we'll talk about the packages. We'll talk about all of that. Before I do that, LOL, heck yes. All right, Jim, there we go. Now, my friends, we always have choices, right? And I honor you and I respect your choice, whatever your journey is, whatever your heart's calling you to do. So first choice, first option, right, is that we can do nothing. You can do nothing. You cannot take advantage of this opportunity. You can throw everything I gave you out the door. It's not for me. It's never going to work, right? And that's your choice. Or you can choose to apply the PATH method. You can choose to take the pressure off. You can choose to uncover the reasons why they're leaving. You can choose to open up communication. You can choose to build connection and friendship. And then you can choose to finally have the happy, thriving, passionate marriage that you really want and that feels safe and secure. And you can choose to invest in your marriage today. And I'm going to talk about exactly what that is. All right. Dave says, what's small? All right. So I'm going to definitely go into that. Sergio, I still need the website. Otherwise, I'm just going to go to my slides. Sorry. So here's the bad news, is that we do limit the number of clients that we help each month. We are a small but growing company, and we really want to ensure that we deliver the best results to you. It's for your benefit, right? And we only accept 12 new clients this month. And in fact, as of yesterday, I'm pretty sure we already had 8 or 9 join. We just got some new clients that joined yesterday. And so we generally, truly only have a few spots. And once they're full, that's it, because we want to make sure we get you guys the best help possible. So I encourage you guys, if you don't want to miss this opportunity, then join now.